there are three things everybody wants. Everybody wants to be wealthy, everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to be fit. Now, of course, you also want an internally calm state of mind. You want a loving household. So there are other things that come into it. But those three, I think, they can actually be taught. The first thing, if you're going to make money, is that you're not going to get rich renting out your time. Even lawyers and doctors who are charging $300, $400, $500 an hour, they're not getting rich because their lifestyle is slowly ramping up along with their income, and they're not saving enough. They just don't have that ability to retire. So the first thing you have to do is you have to own a piece of a business. You need to have equity, either as an owner, an investor, shareholder, or a brand that you're building that accrues to you to gain your financial freedom. I believe everybody can be wealthy. Everybody. It's not a zero-sum game. It is a positive-sum game. You create something brand new, you exchange it with me for something brand new I've created. There's higher utility for both of us. The sum of the value created is positive. It's not like status, where it's like you're higher up, I'm lower down. You're president, so I must be vice president. You're a +1, I'm a -1. It has to cancel to zero. We should be all for playing positive-sum ethical games.
This idea of getting people rich, that somehow or another that's going to make people happy. How do you stop the natural progression that people have of, I have got a nice Chevrolet, but I really want a BMW. I've got a nice BMW, but now I want a Mercedes. I have a Mercedes. I want a Ferrari. How do you stop that material possession trap? Because
you can't at some level, but I think most smart people over time realize that possessions don't make them happy. Desire to me is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. But I think as you get older, you just realize that there's no happiness in material possessions. Now, lack of material possessions can make you very unhappy.
Yes.
So being poor can make you unhappy, but being rich is not going to make you happy. And what happens, unfortunately, a lot of people struggle through their whole lives to make money. They make some, they're exhausted, and then they're like, well, now why am I not happy? I guess I'm just not a happy person, and smart people aren't happy. That's like a great little way to people feel better about it. They say, well, if you're smart, you're not happy. It comes from, if you're smart, it's usually because you thought things through and you have a very busy mind. And so a busy mind can often rob you of peace of mind. Because the peace that we seek is not peace of mind, it's peace from mind. Right? So if you look at all the crazy activities you do to be happy, right? Whether it's like trying to get laid and have an orgasm, or extreme sports, or looking at something beautiful, or taking a psychedelic, you're trying to get out of your own mind. You're trying to get your monkey mind to stop chattering at you for a moment. You're trying to get peace from the mind. And there are other better ways to do that. Most of the ways we try to get peace from mind are indirect. Whereas if you understand things, if you see things properly, you will naturally, slowly develop peace from mind. Sorry if I went on a tangent there.
No, it's a good tangent. It's a good tangent because I think that oftentimes the pursuit is what's thrilling to people, and the possibility that one day they'll be able to rest and that they'll have reached this goal.
That's the fundamental delusion, that there is something out there that will make me happy and fulfill forever.
The golden years.
There is. It's called death.
Oh.
That'll take care of everything. That's the great leveler.
But when people look at particularly social media, let's bring it back to that, when you see someone who, you see them posed in front of their mansion with their beautiful car, and they're leaning against it with their designer clothes on, their expensive watch, you go, I want that.
Right.
That's what I want.
What you really want is freedom. You want freedom from your money problems.
Right.
And I think that's okay. So people, once someone can solve their money problems, either by lowering their lifestyle or by making enough money, essentially what you want to get everybody to is retirement. But not retirement in the I'm 65 years old, sitting in a nursing home collecting a check retirement. Different definition. Retirement is when you stop sacrificing today for some imaginary tomorrow. Okay?
Yes.
When today is complete in and of itself, you're retired.
Yeah.
And so how do you get there? Well, one is you can have so much money saved up that just your passive income off of that, without you having to lift a finger, covers your burn rate. Keep your burn rate low. Right? A second is you just drive your burn rate down to zero. You become a monk. A third is you're doing something you love. You enjoy it so much, it's not about the money.
Right.
So there are multiple ways to that path, but the most common is people just say, I need to make more money. And the kind of wealth creation that I talk about is about creating timeless principles and adapting yourself so that making money won't be an issue. And you can do it by doing what you love. Right? Like we get into this model of I must work for other people, work my way up the ladder. I must like do what that person is doing to make money. But really today in society, you get rewarded for creative work, for creating something brand new that society didn't even know yet that it wanted, that doesn't know how to get other than through you. So the most powerful money makers are actually individual brands, people like yourself, or Elon, or Kanye, or Oprah, or Trump, right? These are individual brands, eponymous name brands who themselves are leveraged, like you're leveraged. You have podcast media going out to everybody. That's leverage. The podcasts work for you when you sleep. They have knowledge that nobody else has, which is your knowledge is the knowledge of being Joe Rogan. Can't replace you. So we have to pay you what you're worth. You just have a unique set of skill sets. So because of this unique, what I call specific knowledge, because of the accountability that you have with your name, because of the leverage that you have through your media, you're a money-making machine. I'm sure at this point I could make you start over tomorrow, wipe out your bank account, you'd be rich again in no time because you have all the skill sets. So once people have those skill sets, and the beauty is the way you've done it is you don't have any competition. There's no substitution. If Joe Rogan were to disappear off the air tomorrow, it's not like random podcaster number 12 would step in and fill that thing. No, it's just gone. So the way to get out of that competition trap is actually to be authentic. The way to retire is actually to find the thing that you know how to do better than anybody. And you know how to do that better than anybody because you love to do it. No one can compete with you if you love to do it. Be authentic, and then figure out how to map that to what society actually wants. Apply some leverage, put your name on it so you take the risks, but you gain the rewards. Have ownership and equity in what you do, and then just crank it out.
I think people have to be very careful to not get trapped along the way with things that you can afford with your current lifestyle, like the way you're living and the way you're earning, but they're also imprisoning you in the fact that you are now going to have to work this 40-hour-a-week job in order to get this thing that you can afford, but now you're saddled down to this job. You're not saving, you're not putting things in a good place, and you're working for these things. Working for things as rewards is a real trap that a lot of people fall into. It's
the biggest one. Nassim Taleb also says that there are two great addictions: heroin and a monthly salary. Right, and that's why you can't get rich renting out your time, because even when you start charging more and more for your time, it's this slow upgrade loop, and then you upgrade your house at the same time, you upgrade your car at the same time, you move in the neighborhood. You really also have to get used to ignoring your peers, or upgrading or changing the definition of your peers. There are a lot of people here who are poor here, but they would be rich if they were living in Thailand and Bali. And if they have the luxury of a remotely doable job, they may want to be living there and saving up money.
But the ignoring the peers is an issue, because the keeping up with the Joneses is a real phenomenon.
Yeah, envy makes the world go round. Right?
Yeah. And then there's a other thing that people have to avoid, even allowing their mind to think. When they're hearing what you're saying, and all this logical, fantastic advice, there's these 6 dirty words. That's easy for you to say.
Yeah.
That is a terrible trap.
One of the secrets to happiness is to really embrace what you're doing in that moment. That's trite, but where that comes from is saying, I only want to do actions that are complete in and of themselves, right? If I'm looking for some ulterior motive down the line, it's not going to materialize. And if you think it is, maybe even if it does, it'll be very short-lived. Anything you wanted in your life, whether it was a car or whether it was a girl or whether it was money, when you got it, a year later, you were back to zero. Your brain had hedonically adapted to it, and you were looking for the next thing. The thing I have to ask myself now is, would I still be interested in learning this thing if I couldn't ever tell anybody about it? That's how I know it's real.
That is what happens to people. You get accustomed to whatever it is. I realized that when I first got a new apartment. It was a nice apartment. After a while, I got used to it. I was like, oh, okay. This is just an apartment. It's just where I live. I'm used to it. It's nice, but I'm used to it. You got happy before the money?
Mostly, yeah.
How did you get happy before the money?
I started getting older. I just realized life is short. I'm going to die.
That's, again, trite, right?
Trite.
In many ways.
Yeah, well, Confucius had a great saying that, every man has 2 lives. And the second starts when he realizes he has just one.